What's up, guys? Madman coming back to you today with some more generalized Warframe content. Today, we're going to be talking about Dev Stream 167. The Dev Stream hit the airwaves on Friday, January 26th, I think it was. And the community had some seriously lofty expectations for what was going to be announced and what was going to be talked about in the dev stream. Most notably, everyone wanted info on Duvari, the Duvari Paradox to be more specific. Now, we're going to get into what was discussed in this. What we're going to do is we're going to basically bookend this particular review of what dev stream 167 was. We're going to do a little bit of general information at the front end, and then we're going to we're going to talk about what the next major expansion is, which is technically going to be called Citrines Last Wish. That is the next major expansion that we're going to be getting, but I'll give you a little more detail on that a little later in the video. And then we're going to end with a little more generalized housekeeping stuff that they kind of discussed in between some of the stuff. We're going to make it as organized as possible. So strap in as we dissect what was probably the most lethargic dev stream. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's the word we're going with in dev stream 167. So the big one that everybody waited for was Duvari Paradox. And of course, I say that, and I'm sad about this, but we did find out that the Duvari Paradox is in fact delayed. Now, the initial idea was that we were going to get this dev stream today, or Friday, that was going to discuss the Duvari Paradox and what was coming in that expansion. We did not get that. In fact, all they did was show a few still clips, which you'll see here. But it's a pretty world. I'll give it that. It's pretty. It's a pretty world. At the same time, some still imagery isn't really what anybody wanted. We've all been waiting for this Duvari Paradox for a while, and what we were looking for was a little more concrete info than what we got. So that's the big one, is Duvari is delayed. So there's that, and if you're going to jump out now, wouldn't blame you, but hopefully you don't, because there was more to unpack and some good stuff to unpack in this dev stream. They did a little bit of statistics, and I am kind of a statistic nerd when it comes to Warframe. So one of the things they discussed, and I thought this was kind of cool, is that Wukong Prime exclusively was the most used frame last year, while the Kubazar was the highest rated primary weapon, and the Kuba Nukor being the highest used secondary weapon. I did not catch what the highest rated melee weapon was, if they talked about it. I'm sure they probably did, because they're kind of weird about stats sometimes, but I missed what the most used melee was. So if y'all can find that or know that, drop that in the comments. I apologize for missing that. The other cool thing they announced at the very beginning of the show is that this is the 10th anniversary of Warframe. We've reached a decade of Warframe, and their goal is to start an event where they do a 10-year celebration. They didn't really specify what was coming in said event. They just said that they were doing a 10-year event to celebrate the anniversary, and that the anniversary was technically in March 23rd, I think they said, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. So that's kind of the beginning chapter of their quote-unquote housekeeping regimen that they ran. And in this little housekeeping sediment, they also explained that while Duvari Paradox is delayed, they were in fact going to at least drop another expansion, what they called a more typical Warframe expansion in Citrines Last Wish. And they said it was going to be coming in February. And this is where I probably got the most excited, because Citrines Last Wish actually seems like a cool update. It is definitely in the vein of the Lewis Prey update. So if you weren't super thrilled with the way the Lewis Prey update played out, then you're probably not going to be super thrilled with this new Citrines Last Wish. But let's unpack what all is coming in terms of the new expansion, Citrines Last Wish. In short, it's going to have a new frame, Citrine, a new game mode, which they called Mirror Defense. They didn't go into a lot of what it was. We'll discuss that more here in just a second. And I'm actually super stoked about this. Otak is going to be utilized more so in the Citrines story. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if they're going to be telling the story through the mission. I think that's the way they discussed it, kind of like they did with Lewis Prey. But the fact that we're going to get more Otak, I'm down for this. Like, Otak is probably one of my favorite characters in the game just because he's weird and I love it and he's just fun. So that's kind of dope. Like I stated, it does come out in February. They did not specify a date in February. They just said it was coming in February. The mirror defense is going to work a lot like the survivals that they put in Lewis Prey. I can't remember the actual name specifically. I suck. But it's the survival missions, and as soon as I see it, I'll be mad because I'll know. But it's called Mirror Defense. It's going to be on Mars, and the prerequisite for being able to do that mission, since you're using Otak in a lot of ways, is to complete the Heart of Deimos quest. So if you've not completed the Heart of Deimos quest yet, which is actually where I'm at while shooting this video, then I recommend you doing the Heart of Deimos quest. Let's talk a little about Citrine. I'm going to pull a video or a picture here, throw her up on the screen if you didn't get to see her. She is cool looking. I got to admit, I do like the way she looks. I like the way she looks. They didn't do a lot of play testing with her that I saw, but it does look cool just the way that she seems to play. So you're going to have Citrine. She is a geo-themed frame, which I think is kind of interesting. So I'm interested to see what her attacks and stuff are, because I would say Atlas is a geo-themed frame, and his attacks and whatnot are kind of dope. So there's that. A little more alien. They did already discuss that she's coming with a deluxe skin, or at least a deluxe helmet, which looks really cool. The helmet looks really dope, actually. So they've already kind of put those ideas and things in place. They did mention that it was going to be a support frame. They did not specify how, but they did make a significant mention that we could see Citrine used as a support frame. So I'm thinking more along the lines of, say, a Trinity or maybe a little bit of Rhino thrown in. You know, that support healing class type thing that some frames have and a lot of frames don't, or buffing. Like I said, they didn't specify which way it was going to go in terms of support. They just said support. So keep that in mind. Like I said, you saw the visual here. She looks cool. I think it's a she. We're going with she. If I'm wrong, somebody will yell at me in the comments. I'm sure. Sorry, pardon my French. I try not to be angry and use curse words. I'll probably bleep that one out if you missed it. Yes, so she looks cool. Alien frame. I think she looks like a weird cross between Goss and Zaku. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. I'm more interested in what the abilities and the synergies of the kit are. And we didn't get that. But the thing they did say is that her parts, as well as the two new weapons, which are going to be a gun scythe, the Cornfell, and the shotgun, the Staplos, I think is how you pronounce it. Those weapons are going to be her signature weapons. So first off, we're getting a gun scythe, and I am all about that. Like, that is super cool to me. And then we're getting a new shotgun, which I'm sure if you've watched my live streams, you know I am very much a fan of the shotgun. I do love me a good shotgun. So the shotgun and the gun scythe are both going to be in the, basically you earn all the parts the same way you earn all of Lewis parts, either in mission or by buying them by using credits that you earn via the mission. So for the Lua update, it was Lua Thorax Plasm. They didn't specify which resource they were going to implement here, but basically you can do that and go through the process of getting it, which is cool. So yeah, that's Citrines Last Wish. Like I said, that's kind of the meat and potatoes of what they showed today. And I'm not mad that we get Citrine, but I'll get a little more into those thoughts later. I just really, like I said, we all kind of expected Duvari Paradox. So now that we've covered Citrines Last Wish, let's talk a little bit about the other general housekeeping stuff that they kind of showed toward the end, stuff that's coming to the game. The first of which is the new augment mods. We're getting augment mods for Gara, Gyre, Ureli, and Revenant. They were talking so fast they didn't get the specifics of those, but they're here on your screen, so you can check those out and read them, and I'll post a link to the actual dev stream notes in the comments below, so you can check that out. They also mentioned we're getting 4 new arcanes, a primary, a secondary, and 2 Warframe arcanes. I can honestly never get enough of the arcanes, so I'm okay with this. One of the cool things I'll admit is they kind of put in forgiveness on the Tau Forge system. Now, if you've played through the Archon hunts, then you kind of know how the Tau Forge system works. You know what Tau Forged is, but they've changed it a little bit, and to me it's changed for the better. So if you play an Archon hunt for a week and you don't get a Tau Forge shard, the following week it goes up by 20%. So the following week you're going to have I think it starts out at 20, so you're going to have a 40%. Following week's going to be a 60%, and then an 80%. And then finally, you're going to get to 100% before it resets. So basically, they've built in another form of pity system to allow you to get Tau Forge shards, which I think is actually kind of a cool little quality of life update for people who don't have luck getting Tau Forge shards. I think that's actually a really cool idea. The other thing they've kind of did some advanced lighting updates. I thought we were kind of past doing all shadows, but what do I know? They did talk about the fact that some of their engine rendering is going to allow for better open world looks and things like that. So that's not a terrible thing. Like I said, I just thought we were kind of past all the shadows, for the love of God. We beat shadows into the ground, literally. Can we move on from the shadows for now, guys? There's other stuff, man. Another thing that the quality of life wise I think is cool is they are buffing the cold status effect. I'll do a little digging. I don't remember if they said specifically how much. I don't think they knew exactly how much, but they did mention they were going to buff cold status effects. So if you use cold status effects, I think that's a cool add-on, because it allows for more versatility in play. The last couple of things here, we did get no new update on crossplay and cross save. All they mentioned is that they were working on it, which is kind of depressing, but not all that surprising yet. So there's that. They did, however, mention that they are maxed out at capacity for the iOS mobile beta. So you have the fact that the beta for mobile is at least functioning, I guess is the right word. I don't even know if that's the right word, but it seems like the right word. They talked a little bit about trying to figure out cross-trade and cross-save and how it was going to work. So that tells me we're a little further off than I had hoped in terms of cross-save. And somebody in the comments is probably going to tell me, "Ha, told you." So there's that. I'm going to give you some final thoughts on the overall dev stream, but before I do, if you're liking these videos, these Warframe videos, we're going to do more of these dev stream reviews, various update information drops, as well as continuing the educational journey into Warframe. So if you're liking what we're doing, do me a favor, click that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and make sure that you're updated for when all new videos drop. So let's talk about this dev stream overall. It's one of those that could have been better. It could have been worse. Do I think this is what the community wanted? No. Everybody is patiently waiting for the drop of Duvari, and I am among that list. Even though I've not maxed out all of my standing with certain systems, such as this, such as Deimos, where I'm at right now. Even though we've not maxed out, or I've not maxed that out, I want Duvari because I just think it's a cool concept. And a lot of people want Duvari. And that's the thing, is you got to give people what they want. But at the same time, I don't want it to launch buggy and broken. If them taking a couple extra months means a couple of extra months of polish, then you know what? I'm okay with it. Let's do that. Let's make Duvari one of the best open world Warframes ever had, and I won't be mad at it in the slightest. But, you know, a little bit of information today would have probably been a little better. It's hard for me to be in the middle of that. I can't pretend like I'm completely unbiased and not a little bit sad, but it is what it is. I will say that if you don't or haven't seen the clips, you need to go back and check out Rebecca on her little monitor. That was an interesting ordeal. She was on her little monitor on an ultra wide screen. I don't know why. They just said she couldn't be there. But it was funny. They stuck her in a little Utico makeshift looking bot thing that was on the couch. So that's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to the next dev stream. Personally, I think that the next dev stream hopefully is going to contain a lot. I'm hoping that it is just straight Duvari Paradox information. Give us a release date, or at least a release window, because we've been talking about this update for a while, and I'm a little sad we haven't quite made it there yet. But at the same time, like I said, we'll get there. I know we'll get there, and it'll be good, because I don't believe DE does. I won't say they don't do anything wrong. That's a lie. I'll call them on their BS when I see it, but I like a lot of the stuff they're doing, and I definitely am interested and intrigued in how this new Duvari Paradox open world is going to function. So that's going to wrap this. I want to say thank you guys for watching, and once again, if you haven't done so, click the like button and then hit that subscribe button. It definitely shows YouTube I don't suck at this, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, and you decide to take a trip amongst the stars to fight the enemies of the Origin system, I am the Madman, reminding you to brace yourself and reinforce your haul.